let's get to it. Y'all know what y'all here for. We know what you here for. You seen the thumbnail. I don't know what I'm titling this. I was about to cuss. Ja Morant has struck again.
Ja Morant is an idiot.
NBA young boy's best friend, Ja Morant. All right, where you want to start at? All right, first of all, let's go over what happened. Ja Morant was with his homeboy. The homeboy he's
just hanging out with his friends. Just hanging out with his friends.
But this is a special homeboy. We got to do that. This is the same homeboy who's with him. This is the same homeboy who had the lasers pointing at the Indiana Pacers, who is now banned from that arena.
Yeah.
This is the same homeboy who he was with last time he had a gun. Anyway, Ja Morant in the car, listening to NBA Youngboy. I want to specify that because I feel like we're going to... We keep talking about stuff and it keeps circling it back.
Yeah.
So now...
we talk about black culture. So
yeah. Hip-hop culture.
Yeah, hip-hop, it goes into that. Like, I mean, I know we like to think that hip-hop is everybody's a worldwide culture. It really isn't. It is an African-American male, culture more than anything else. And it grew out from there.
Absolutely. He was on... His homeboy was in the live. They was in the car. Ja pulled up a gun. His homeboy, trying to save him, dropped the phone, ended the live, whatever. But hey, if it's on the internet, it's there, bro.
Yeah. No. Like, look, Ja is an idiot. Like he looks stupid, right?
Okay.
But Ja's also young. Right?
He is 23, Gen Z.
Ja is he is young, and these are the things that you do when you're young and stupid. And none of us, right? Anybody listening to this pod right now, if you were the total of the sum of your mistakes that you made, if you was young, whether you was in college or not, right?
Yeah.
None of us would be where we are today. And that's kind of like where I see Ja now. Is Ja idiot? He looks stupid. Like, dude, you're dancing with a gun, right? Like, here's the thing. I don't know what would be more stupid. If he's dancing with a loaded gun or if he's dancing with an unloaded gun. I don't know which one is stupider, right? So it's like, I'm not defending that, but it's like, but I also recognize the anti-blackness in our reaction to what
which
Ja
is
does.
What?
Because if this was somebody that wasn't black, right?
Okay.
And it was a video with a gun, we wouldn't look at it the way that we look at it when we see Ja, right? Like, part of the problem is Ja listening to the music that he's listening to, seemingly endorsing what that music, involves itself with, right? So it's like, I'm this driller, I'm this G, I'm this gangster.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're none of that, right? You're none of that. So
that is
like,
facts.
chill out. But if this was like, obviously you see in all the
Duncan Robinson.
If it was Duncan Robinson, right? Like, matter of fact, I was talking to one of my friends, man. I was like, we really get murked on, like lyrics and stuff. Like, I'm gonna read you guys some lyrics right now, right? So imagine this is Duncan Robinson, right? And this is playing in the background. All right. Take heed, and you won't pay the price, cause honor and a name ain't worth a damn if you don't have a life. I'm a rattlesnake on the trigger. Your last stand will be lying in the sand, falling to the slam of my hammer, right? If Duncan Robinson, if that is playing in the background,
what song
right,
is that?
It's actually a country song called Cattleman's Gun.
Oh,
right. Like, if you heard that, you would not have the same reaction that you have to Ja listening to NBA Youngboy. So at some point we have to recognize, what are we reacting to? Right?
I will tell you what we're reacting to.
What are we reacting to?
We are reacting to the sum of Ja Morant and what he's been doing for the last year. Whether that's you fighting security guards at the mall, whether it's that you trying to jump on finish line employees, whether that's you showing up to your sister's volleyball game and trying to fight girls in the stands and taking their phone, which is an assault, by the way. Which you fighting a security guard, which is another assault, which you pulling a gun on a 17-year-old playing at your house, which is threatening, which is a crime. We doing that, but let's just excuse that.
Yeah.
8 weeks ago, not even, you got suspended 8 games because you had a gun and it was a bad look, and all of those other things plus that gun situation got you.
And I could agree, right? It is a sum of things.
It's a sum
right?
of
but
things.
if the microscope is on you, like, why is the microscope on Ja? And for instance, why the microscope on Ja and not? We look at Ja and his friends. We're like, this friend behavior is making us take a deeper look at Ja, right? Nikola Jokic brothers are wild as hell, right?
Yeah.
We don't. Do we look at Nikola Jokic with the same microscope that we look at Ja? Because none of the things that Ja have done has really been newsworthy, right? Most of the time it's Twitter words, right? John Morant was in a strip club with a gun. Bro, I've been in a strip club with a gun.
You also not worth $200 million though.
No, but to my point though, right?
And you also wouldn't put that online.
But he didn't, right? The club won't put that online.
When he had the gun to his head, that was live on John Morant's account.
Well, no, you talking about the video he just made.
No, the last gun video, Ja put that out.
No, I'm talking strip club.
Yeah, the gun, Ja put that out on his live.
No. Strip club video was put out by the club on.
So okay, but Ja put that on live. He put that on live. When he had the girl and it was 50 grand before that, the strip club put that out.
Yeah.
Which a lot of sports, especially, and I'm going to name out Shannon Sharp, he really looked at the strip club and was like, you messing up y'all money.
Yeah.
But the actual gun part, Ja, he did put that out on his own personal account.
The gun part was
when he had the little small pistol, little baby water gun pistol by his head. Ja put that out.
But again, what I'm saying is, we're looking at Ja, and Ja is a microcosm of culture, right?
Absolutely. And I do want to get to that.
Yeah, we're looking at one person, right? We're saying like, yo, this is entirely stupid. But when we look at the whole thing, we're like, yo, like, what's the hell up with this goddamn music and the way the kids are reacting? We act like we don't know where the hell they get this shit from, right? We're in a gun nut country.
That's
right. Tennessee is like racist Texas for the most ridiculous gun freedom laws, right? And he's in Memphis, right?
Which is
I don't watch any Memphis Grizzlies games. You know, I'm not in Memphis. I don't have NBA League Pass.
The only thing I even know about Memphis is Live PD.
Yeah. So how do I know that Ja Morant is coming out to whatever rapper they have in Memphis that are singing them out like they're coming out in a boxing match, and Ja is doing the gun dance on the way out, right? Scope dance on the way out. How do I know that, right? Like who's promoting that?
Okay,
the NBA is promoting it. So it's like, yo, gun country, gun state, gun city, NBA is promoting it, and then you're like, where the hell did Ja get that shit from? Why is he doing that?
Well, okay, so here's my thing. I look at Ja, he's 23. All right, I always tell y'all, something wrong with Gen Z. I've been saying that. I'm going to stay on that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Ja Morant.
They've been raised by their mothers. There ain't nothing wrong with them. They're doing exactly what they've been raised to do.
But in Ja Morant's case, his dad is a groupie. So he ain't been raised by his mom.
Right.
And you know, we'll get to tea later. But here's my problem with Ja Morant. You are a superstar in the NBA. You have just signed, which could be up to like 210 as far as your next contract.
Did he sign it already, or is he just
did, but he didn't get he signed it, but he's not going to get it. It gets knocked down to like 190 or 180 something because he didn't make the NBA all NBA team this year. So he didn't already lost. So for this is what we got to understand. Ja Morant has already lost $40 million because he was suspended, and I do believe the media will say, all right, we got to punish you along with
Absolutely.
So, but he's already lost 40, right? Nike is still going to drop his shoes, which comes out in a few weeks. Powerade is pausing stuff, so it is interesting. But I look at Ja Morant and I say this, bro. You not street. You playing street. You going around throwing a rolling 60s at NBA games. The NBA can, which is a private company, can look at you and say, yo, what the hell are you doing? Now, I do understand this. I worked in corporate America. As an entrepreneur, I worked alongside corporate America. They do pander by using hip hop. Yes. The NBA is they do that. Let's just go straight to the NBA when they were doing live. When they was picking teams during the All-Star game. They play drill music the whole time.
So we get that. That's what I'm saying. Like that, to me, that is the hypocrisy. Because it's like, yo, there's plenty good music to play where you don't have to play this crap.
Yeah,
right.
But it's their league. They can do whatever they want. That's the problem.
They can do, they can do whatever they want. What I'm saying is like, yo, I will be like, yo, this is hypocritical, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't expect. I'm not going to be outraged at what Ja did is stupid. Do I want my son
to do the same stupid things that I did growing up? No, I want him to look at Ja and be like, I can do the stupid things Ja. No, right? Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I want.
But that's the image Ja is giving out.
That is the image that Ja is giving out.
Now, let's get to this music part. I think the biggest issue I have with Ja is not really the NBA, because I know what the NBA gonna do, right? You signed a code of conduct. They have every right to violate you, and they will. Whatever that may look like, right? My problem with Ja is a direct reflection of the streets of today. I don't believe in the streets because the people who I've come across that are in the streets, you don't know that they're in the streets until it's too late, right? But I do believe Ja is a reflection of that, so that
To me, the streets is fake. Well,
the streets that we see is definitely fake.
Yeah.
So at some point, we have to stop chasing behind this Hollywood dream, right? Like what our music is portraying, what our TV show. And look, I'm just as guilty. Like I watched the leaked Power episodes, and I was like, you know what? That shit was fire. 18-6. That we finally got a cuss word.
Hey, look, hold on, hand claps for us.
Hand claps for us. But that was fire.
But it's like, yo, at the end of the day, it keeps showing us that these things are our culture, right? Like, we're not shown as firefighters, we're not shown as police departments, we're not shown as doctors work, darn
on, any show. So our culture, or what we're being programmed for, is this street stuff. And it's like, at some point, and I hate that it's like, it's always like, we get older, we realize the mistakes of our ways. Mm-hmm. How do we train our young men, right? How do we train them to be like, hey, you could be somebody on your own. You don't need to be a part of this culture. You don't need to be part of this organization, right? Like, we got to stop finding ourselves creating these bonds and families and brotherhoods in organizations, all organizations, right?
Yeah,
legal and illegal.
Yeah. We do need to be able to stand on our own and create communities. Because we actually create communities, that's a different type of brotherhood than I never had a community, so I'm looking to join someone because I've never had a brotherhood. That's all I'm saying.
I laughed when 6ix9ine came out there and snitched on everybody because in my mind, I don't understand how nobody didn't know that he wasn't a gangster, right? It seemed like everybody but New York, that New York blood gang, didn't know that he wasn't a real gangster.
Well,
right?
I mean,
so he snitches, and then to me, I didn't follow that up. I didn't watch the news on it. I didn't read no articles on it because in my mind, he was always a civilian, right?
Yeah.
You speed
Everybody's a civilian, bro. Like, dude, nobody doesn't talk. Like, that's the dirty little secret. I remember I had asked someone that I knew like years ago, and he was telling me of an instance that he barely got of. Like, the only reason he got out of the instance is because they had waited an hour and a half on a dog, and they like the dog never got there. Mm-hmm. But he was like in his back seat because he was being a dumbass. It was all his little rubber bands in the back seat. Right? Yeah. So the cop already knew who he was.
Yeah.
And he was like, the only reason he got off is because they could not get the K9 there. It was like an hour and a half, 2 hours later, right?
Yeah.
So I asked him a question. I say, look, man, just between you and me. I said, if that would have happened, and if they would have told you, like, look, it's 2 years if you tell us who, or it's 25, you don't tell who. I said, what do you do in that moment? And he was just like, dude, I don't even want to think about it. Right? He was just like, I don't even want to think about what I would do. And I was like, well, the only way you can not have to think about that is you can't do the dumb shit that you just did.
Yeah.
Right? But it was almost too late for that to happen. And that's why I always say your foresight has to be better than your hindsight. Facts. Right? You have to see the problem coming and look at all possible outcomes, right? If you want to do something stupid and dumb, you're going to have to figure out all the ways that you can't get caught. And when we look at somebody as Ja, right, or anybody that want to play in the streets that's not really in the streets, you don't think about that. You just see the fun shit. You just see the guns. You just see the money. You just see the strippers. You just see, hitting all these randoms, right? Mm-hmm. What you don't see is like, dudes put in work for $50K, bro.
Yeah.
If you got $50K cash on you, dudes will put in serious freaking work to get to you, right?
Yes.
So it's like, you have to really understand, all possible outcomes. So to your point, most dudes who are really, really gangsters don't really talk about it because they know what it will cost them.
Yeah.
And I look, it gets my nerves when I see the Ja Morants play with the real life stuff. Because there's dudes out there that real talk dude, they put in real work.
Yeah, for less than 50 too.
Way less than 50.
And I always go back to a time my dad, you remember when I was younger, there used to be, people would be like, oh, they'd be like, yo, what's up, pimp, or what's up, player, whatever, right? And so I remember we used to always say thug all the time, right? And my dad, he pulled me to the side. He said, yo, you know what a thug is? And I'm like, Mike know where I grew up at.
Yeah.
It's the suburbs. He loves to remind y'all. For the last 95 episodes, he loved to remind y'all, right? And he's not lying. But I I remember I told my dad, I was like, oh, a thug is somebody that'll fight you, that'll shoot you, that'll kill you, blah, blah, blah. And my dad looks at me, he busts out laughing because my dad grew up in a lifestyle.
Yeah.
That was not like the one I grew up in, right?
Yeah.
He went to work at 18 and he still worked there now.
Yeah.
And so he looks at me, he said, let me tell you something. He said, a thug is somebody who does not care.
Yeah.
He said, I want you to remember that. Whenever you think of a thug, just know that they do not care. They will do whatever it takes because they do not care about these things. I want you to remember that. And that always stuck with me. Now, mind you, he didn't tell me this in private. He actually said this at church when he was speaking to all the boys that was my age.
Yeah.
And when he said that and he was looking at me and we was having this conversation in front of everybody, it just stuck with me. And I remember everybody else in the room was just looking like, yo, what? Like, but I need y'all to understand that. You know, when you got actual Crip members talking and saying, hey, bro, if you want to, you can roll with us and just be ready.
And, of course, they're going to say roll with us because they're going to extort them.
Absolutely.
Like, so it's like, yo,
absolutely.
Like, you had, again, though, like, someone had to be smart enough to tell him all that. Ja is from the state of South Carolina, right? So I get the attraction to guns, right? You know, South Carolina cities aren't, They are not popping, right? Like they're not gangs, but it's like, yo, there's a lot of real people in South Carolina cities across the state.
South Carolina niggas will fight you over anything.
So it's a reason why anything crazy happens that they respond rapidly in the state of South Carolina. So it's a small little weird enclave of individuals. So I understand some of Ja's problem, right? Because when you're on the outside of that, like, there's no proximity to not seeing it in the state of South Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Like, everybody in the state of South Carolina has some sort of attraction or affinity to guns. They had the student that was at one of those private schools down there in South Carolina, right? That made the racial thing, and he had the shotgun and he was shooting up like a Jordan box or whatever. And they got his ass right out of that private school ASAP because they knew when he got back to school with the black students at the private school, it was going to be some problems, right?
Yeah.
That's the state of South Carolina in general. But Ja has to understand, it's like, yo, when you get out of there, like, there is no go back. There is no, like, yo, I still miss that life. Like, bruh, people wish they had the life that you had. People would murder 100 people for the life that you have.
And I think, Ja's in this situation, dog, where you 23 about to could have signed a $200 million contract. Bro, it's 2 more max contracts.
Yeah, he still got another max contract coming, man. And like, yo,
but you could have been looking at $600-700 million.
Yeah, he's 28 years old. It's like, yo, are you gonna be Ja Morant, 28-year-old? That team's gonna be like, is he gonna flame out like AI, or are you gonna be Ja, the 28-year-old, where teams are like, you know what, we'll keep you around till you 36 years old. Yeah, right. So you would get a max contract and then another big contract. But, like, I think AI was really out in the league when he was, 33, 34 years old? And he could still play, right? But because of what he brought, teams are just like, we good, right? Like, that cost him an extra $20, $30, $40 million in that era. Yeah. So when Ja gets to this era when, at 28, you sign another max deal of 5 years, right? Yeah. When you're 33, 34 years old, a team's going to be like, we want to take another shot on you. I always saying at the end of the day, I always saying it's like, grow the fuck up. But I'm not gonna persecute the man. I'm not gonna say. Honestly. I don't even think, I know y'all disagree with me in group chat. I don't even think he should be suspended because the NBA supported his fucking behavior.
Ja Morant, you got to be gone for at least a third of the season.
No, they should suspend him at all. The NBA, because why you got drill rappers there and you drilling coming out of the goddamn locker room? Nah, fuck that. No. The NBA supported it.
Look, no, they didn't.
They absolutely supported it.
Mike,
if you are playing drill music with drill rappers and players coming out of the locker room doing scope dances, nigga, you support that shit.
No, Mike, we don't support you having unfair, unsafe guns in strip clubs. Look,
this country absolutely supports unsafe gun ownership.
The country don't run the NBA. The NBA runs the NBA.
No, the country do run the NBA because if you go through the owners, those owners are going to be the reason why culture in this country
Let's do
runs.
it like this. This is what I do know. Ja Morant got a gun to Denver from Memphis, and the NBA turned a blind eye on how it got there. They want us to be dumb enough to believe that it popped up in Denver and he was able to get it in Denver to take it to a strip club. The NBA knows that I ain't that stupid, and they know that you not that stupid. They know Ja Morant took a gun on a team plane, got it up to Denver, but we ain't going to go there, right? Here's the thing.
What I'm saying is, don't be hypocritical.
No, they already set the precedent. They already suspended them 8 games.
Suspended for another 8 then.
You don't get the.
And here's the thing, right? You don't even have to suspend him because they were investigating whether or not he had broke a FAA
which he
violation.
did, but they don't want us to know.
Yeah, which would be a major, red flag. But this is him in his car in the great state of Tennessee, which I believe is damn near open carry. Like,
it don't matter what it is. You are a representation. You signed a code of conduct, which you violated.
So taking a gun on a plane is different than holding a gun up to your head in your car.
No, it don't matter. Like when
it looks stupid, but it's different.
No, when you sign code of conducts and they say, "Hey, here's some rules," and every job that you have, everybody that has a job, I know a lot of us don't read our handbooks, but in our handbooks, there's statements on there on how you can make your company look bad and things that you could do outside of work that make the brand, the company look bad. Ja Morant did that. So when we give you 8 games for doing it one time, and then you don't even wait 90 days, you don't wait 60 days, and you look at Adam Silver, and we try to sell the community on that you went to some treatment center, which was bullshit in itself, right? We sold them on that. And then you get up here and 2 months later you do it again. Nah, bro, you got to go a third of the season. Because I will say this, the NBA don't need Ja. He need them.
Oh, absolutely.
So you easily replace. Memphis is easily replaced. Memphis is just a shitty team anyway. They trash. So we can get rid of. Look, the whole thing can go. Y'all lucky. And look, they just got the new owner, right? Ain't he the youngest owner in the league?
Yeah, I think so.
But I understand the whole thing of like the NBA. We encourage this. We play their music. That don't mean. Look, we let y'all smoke weed. You can't bag up weed on your Instagram.
Yeah.
You get suspended just as quick.
That's a solid point.
Like you just can't do that.
That's a solid point.
And T, we gon' look, T, I'm just here to see what you gonna do, bro.
T
I do think T
is really acting like new money right now. Like, dude, go get
the whole
son.
family.
Yeah.
And
well, we haven't said the mom and the sister, so let's leave them out.
Well, I was gonna say, look, I am looking at Ja Morant's mom, and if you look at all his incidents, there are three incidents where his mom felt like she was disrespected, and she called Ja and his friends to show up.
Oh wow!
I do feel like which is the mall incident where the
Foot
Locker employee.
You are right.
You good on those laws.
Yeah.
The Foot Locker thing. The sister's volleyball game when she called Ja and said, "Hey, some girl talking trash to your sister from the stands," and Ja shows up with his friends. Like there's 3 instances where his mom called him and said, "Hey, come down here and handle this." So I am looking at it and saying, "Yo, ma, you got to understand you're going to mess up the bag." Who you laughing at?
Oh, man, I just got a text. It's stupid.
Oh, God.
But no, mom.
Moms, we got to be better.
Okay, all right, goddamn. What's the family from Beverly Hillbillies?
Oh, no.
What's the name of
it? Don't watch that shit.
All right, Morants.
Look, come on. Y'all got to relax.
All right, next time. No more on the Morants, man. Hey, y'all grow the fuck up.
Please.